Okay, everybody ready? So where am I going from? Am I just doing a motion to?
I would make a motion that we accept the agenda and approve it as presented.
Okay, second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
I
Good.
further move that we recess into executive session for the purpose of discussing personnel, property, and legal matters.
Okay, can I have a roll call vote, please?
Mr. Moore?
Yes.
Yes. Mrs. Dahl?
Yes.
Mr. Edison?
Yes.
Dr. Stricker? Yes.
Okay, it's so passed. And we are now in executive session.
Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, at this time we have our first opportunity for public comment. The school board welcomes questions, ideas, and comments from persons in attendance. Members of the audience may comment during a public comment portion of the meeting when recognized by the board president. We ask the comments be limited to 3 minutes in order to complete the agenda at a reasonable time. We also ask that comments begin by providing your name and address and the school district in which you reside. Yeah, and because there are some people who have not been here in the past, just so you know, the board does not respond to public comments. Don't take that personally. If you say something and we don't respond, that's just our policy because we're trying to get the meeting completed within a reasonable time period. Would anybody like to make a comment at this time?
Oh, no. You want to go? No.
Go ahead.
You're good.
Hello. My name's Phil Freeman. I'm a senior here at Webster High. I reside at 447 Fairview Avenue, Webster Groves. I'm standing before you today because the very basis of my identity was attacked by our new principal, Matt Irvin, just a few weeks ago. For some of you, it may seem hard to see how removing Ms. Burchett from the Chelsea Center was an attack on my identity and how part of my identity was gone. It's very easy for me to say that she's someone who made me who I am today, and to say that without her, I wouldn't be able to stand up here in front of you. I even sat with my mom freshman year, and I told her I wasn't going to be one of those kids who worried about colleges or grades, and she couldn't make me. I was nothing like the passionate and dedicated student I am today. I am the way I am today because Mrs. Burchett knows how to communicate with students about what it means to learn. As many of you may know, I find myself connected in politics with many passions, but one specifically around public education. This passion has given me opportunities to work with district admin, and I have seen firsthand and even talked with staff, including Dr. Simpson, about what makes an ideal teacher. The thing that baffles me and confuses me is why Dr. Simpson would allow Dr. Irvin to tear such an ideal teacher away from the Chelsea Center. I want to emphasize how Mrs. Burchett isn't only a leader, but she's the only leader for the Chelsea Center that there's ever been, and for a reason. Mrs. Burchett works harder than any other teacher I know. She'll stay through the night until the janitors kick her out, and I know that with any new director of the Chelsea Center you may find, you will not find the amount of dedication and willingness to sacrifice that will keep the Chelsea Center alive. And eventually it will die, and that's on you. When I say you, I mean Dr. Simpson, the board, and others here at Central Office. The simple fact is that Matt Irvin won't be here long enough for this to matter to him. It's obvious to us students that Dr. Irvin has his eyes set on a superintendent position, that he will take the first one that pays more than being our principal. So in the end, it will fall on you, the ones who are sticking around because you might actually care what happens to our schools, and you'll have to live with that. You might not see this, but it's hard to get the truth out of Dr. Irvin. Whether it was our conversation with him that was not respectful or constructive, or from the beginning, when he told us in his job interview that he would take the first year to get to know us, our culture, and our community. Yet every day I have people approach me and tell me how Dr. Irvin came to their event for 15 minutes, was on his phone, and left without talking to anyone. That's not getting to know us. But it suffices since you let it slide and let him begin to make sweeping changes such as this that will affect the district way longer than Matt Irvin will ever be here. Lastly, I have to address your hollow responses. For those of you who thank us for our advocacy and then turn around and write us off, you are in the wrong. To those of you who deny to comment on this out of respect for Mrs. Burchett, you're in the wrong and you're a coward. Now, if you think that is unjust and that you are in fact on our side, then show it, say something, but until then, live with what you've done. Thank you.
I'm going to time myself. Good evening, President Amy. My name is Miriam Townsend. I reside at 444 Bismarck in Webster Groves. I'm a graduate of Webster Groves High School. I'm also the parent of a scholar athlete that graduated from Webster Groves High School, and I'd like to read this letter. Dear President Clinton, I apologize, and members of the Board of Education, on May 31st, 2017, the Webster Groves School District, quote, affirmed its commitment to lead efforts to advance a culture of equity and justice leading to better lives for all. In January 2018, a group of parents from the high school formed the Webster Groves Parents of Racial Equity to further this common commitment to equity at the high school. We are a school-sponsored group and have spent the last year listening to students and parents, as well as interviewing administrators in order to best inform ourselves. All administrators, need I remind you. We, the members of the Webster Groves Parent Equity Group, are making the following request. First, we would like the Webster Groves School District to designate an equity diversity officer whose responsibility is the emotional safety of the systemically oppressed minority here in Webster Groves, and to make inclusion, equity, and diversity both essential and commonplace within the high school community. I'll let that sink in. As I stated, I was a graduate in in 1985. My daughter walked through these halls in 2018 and graduated. And that resonates with me personally. The Webster Groves School District, we're also requesting, number 2, that the district allow us, the Parents Racial Equity Group, to utilize its communication routes in order to communicate our mission statement and meeting times with the parents of the Webster Groves community. I have 43 seconds. Webster Groves community, as a group, we have taken the past year to meet with administrators. Our third request is our meeting times in place, which we meet the last Wednesday of every month from 7 to 8 p.m. at Webster Groves High School Library. And fourth request is our organization is listed on the tab for the Webster Groves School District server, specifically the Webster Groves School District High School website under the Parents Resources. For example, Avery, our elementary schools are doing a phenomenal job in promoting equity within their school community, and it saddens me that the high school is not taking that same initiative in promoting our equity group. And that's the end. I do have copies of the letter for every member here. Thank you. Sorry.
With all due respect to the two subjects that just went before me, I'm going to talk about something else, if that's okay. First of all, I think the district should run a caption contest on this photo. What do you think, John? What do you think, Steve? David? You know, I think it'd be pretty fun. So anyway, I just wanted to bring that up. There is a famous expression in creative thinking which is called think outside the box. Think outside the box. Inside the box is symbolic of the following things: convention, tradition, history, conformity, the status quo. It's very predictable, it's very much the same, it's very expected, and it's very ordinary. But if you can dare to be different, dare to think differently, dare to break the rules, dare to challenge convention, and get outside the box, you can come up with new and different ideas. This district has, I think, a very proud history of creative thinking and innovation, which includes, this is not an all-inclusive list, the Douglas Demonstration School, the Computer School, the Steger 6th Grade Center, the new wing of the high school, the Ambrose Playground, whatever it's called. I mean, it's really different. The School for Today, and Prop E, as it now becomes a reality. But I believe that there are other things that we can start to think about and start to think outside the box on. Here is some of the things on my personal wish list. You may not agree. Concussions in high school sports. Yeah, I think it'd be nice if we thought outside the box on that subject. If we could think outside the box on teacher salaries. If we could think outside the box of standardized testing. If we could think outside the box of preschool, i.e. getting to a public preschool at Givens. To think outside the box to declare Hudson as this district's official innovation school, which I think the district has needed for a long time. To think outside the box and reimagine our curriculum, which I think would just be a fascinating case. And lastly, to think outside the box and blow up the current strategic plan and start fresh, tabula rasa, fresh slate, and build it up scratch again. I think that would be great. Thomas Edison had a great quote. He said, creativity, the word creativity is a combination of two words, create plus activity. He said creativity is 1% the idea, inspiration, 99% perspiration. Doing Prop E now is your perspiration. That's going to take time, money, energy to get done. I just want to make sure as a resident and as a district grandparent that we focus on the create again, because there's a lot of creation to do. Thanks.
Hello, my name is Ethan Weil. I live at 144 South Maple, and I am a junior currently at Webster Groves High School. I would like to voice my opinion, or my opposition to the decision to remove Miss Burchett from her position as head of the Chelsea Center. She's helped hundreds of students, including me, learn more about their career paths as well as themselves. I also think that there was, and still is, very little communication with students and parents about this decision. While I'm aware that there are certain confidentiality rules that must be honored, transparency is incredibly important in a major decision like this. I, as well as others in the student body, would like to know more about the events leading up to the removal, more specifically about the review process and why the specific firm was selected. In addition, there are two steps that I believe can be taken right now at this moment to facilitate more transparency. First of all, the review of the Chelsea Center could be released that was performed by that firm. The review seems central to the decision to remove Ms. Burchett, and if it were made public, it could provide more insight into this decision. Secondly, the plan for the updates to the Chelsea Center could be released. It seems irresponsible to me to take someone so important away from a program so crucial to the education of students without a plan in place for how to move forward. If the plan for the future of the Chelsea Center were released or created, if it does not exist already, this could also help others to understand why this decision was made and how Ms. Burchett's removal could benefit the Chelsea Center. Thank you.
Do celebrations. Patrick, you're up first. Any celebrations for us?
Alright, so I have a couple, and actually the first one I wanted to mention is a little behind me, about a month or so ago, when all students selected courses for the next year. And it's just really encouraging to see a lot of students excited about some of the new opportunities that we have at the high school. And one of the biggest ones that I heard about was the Thrive Incubator. And I happen to know quite a few people who are doing it and really excited to do that. And I think there might be a few others. AP Seminar is one of them as well, I know. But obviously just very encouraging, kind of see growing outward in terms of classes and things like that. And it's always very, exciting to hear. And then besides that, couple things of sports that I just wanted to give a quick share. Both, I think the girls' javelin record and the girls' high jump record were broken this past weekend. Hannah Jansen broke the javelin record, and Eliza Maupin broke the high jump record with a jump of 5.4. So that was really exciting to hear. And besides that, obviously the school's gearing up for their kind of activity day tomorrow, which includes the freshmen, I think, do some sort of amazing race kind of thing, and the sophomores do sophomore service day, and the juniors do Special Olympics, and the seniors have an activity day. And with the Special Olympics this year, there's actually more participants signed up than members of the junior class, which is really encouraging to hear and really says something about the event, and I'm sure it'll go really well tomorrow. So that's about all I got.
All right, thank you. From board members, Arnold?
Just want to thank everybody. I'm sure this will be a discussion point. I want to thank everybody who participated in working on the Prop E campaign. Tremendous amount of time from Dr. Simpson to Mr. Ellerman and also Alan in working through those things. A lot of work. Thank you very much for all that hard work. And also the staff is kind of in the home stretch right now of the school year and needs a lot of encouragement because I'm sure they're very tired and worn out, but I want to thank them for their continued diligence in assisting our students in their learning.
Keita? Let's see, went to the postponed Black History Month program at Gibbons. It was awesome. What I liked the most was all the different participation by all the students. Teachers were asked for students to come up with stuff. My favorite was I think it was the third graders that did a STEM project with laptops. And they were all African-American jazz artists. And you could take them, they made little paper dolls of them and touch it and they would sing to you. And I was like, wow, that's awesome. So that was really awesome. And actually, earlier today, we went to the 5th grade art show, which is in the Old Orchard Art Gallery down here in Old Orchard. All the 5th graders will be featured in the school district. I am partial to the ones at Gibbons. Say that. But it's there for the next 2 weeks. It's free, and actually there's some really neat art things. If you have a few minutes, stop by and check it out. David?
I just echo what Arnold said about the proposition, particularly a shout out to everybody who showed up last Saturday when it was cold and rainy and went out and canvassed around the neighborhood. There were a lot of teachers who came out in particular, who came out and went out to try to educate people in terms of what Proposition E was all about, and just wanted to sort of particularly thank them.
I agree. Thanks to all the people that worked on Prop E and the people that were out working the polls. That was a lot of work. I hope everyone will come to the Wellness Fair this Saturday, Edgar Road, 9 to 12. Should be a lot of good, not vendors, but presenters or people there with health-related items. And then my last thing is just a shout out that I happened to see today, driving by Clark after school, and the strings teacher had all the strings out in the front yard playing. It was awesome. It was such a beautiful day.
Yeah.
Anyway, it was really fun to see. Anyway, that's all I got.
Okay, thanks. Christine?
Kudos in advance to Dr. Malpert and the wellness team for pulling together the event on Saturday. Also kudos to Todd Allen, who directed the Prop E campaign, and everybody who participated as well in the rain, and then the next day not in the rain. And then as my kiddo nervously took the ACT earlier this week, or no, it was last week. Last week, I want to thank the district for paying for that.
All right, Steve, last one.
I'll add just a little bit to the Prop E, and that my thanks is in general to the community for their support, for their participation in the process from the very beginning. We asked for their input, we asked for their feelings, their questions. It was an open table, it was an open discussion, and nothing honestly was off the table from the very beginning. And it was actually kind of cool, and selfishly will say that when I came onto the board 9 years ago, we had just passed a prop to add to the high school, no tax increase bond issue, no tax rate increase bond issue at that time, and to go out with another one being passed in my 9th year and final meeting to celebrate that. That's pretty cool bookend to those 9 years. So
Absolutely.
thanks again to the community for the support.
Thanks, Steve. I believe, do we have students currently performing at Carnegie Hall as we speak?
I don't think so.
The
choir?
Choir, yeah. So that's pretty great. I don't know if you guys were going to talk about that, John?
Yeah, about that.
That was down on my list.
Oh, okay, yeah. I just saw on Facebook a friend posted that he had tears in his eyes as he saw his daughter performing.
Amazing.
And she happens to be a kiddo with special needs. It's pretty great.
That's really neat.
All right.
Kathy V, do you have?
No, I passed.
Okay. I had a few that I was going to add. I'll add my Prop E stuff too, but thanks for all those you shared. I had an opportunity to participate in the Avery play this past weekend. I performed both Friday day and Saturday nights as a carnival barker, and they do such a great job. It was the 70th year of that tradition for the Avery School community. Always a lot of fun, so kudos to that whole group. If you're out and about Friday morning, early at 7 a.m., Statesman Service Awards, it's a really cool opportunity to go and see our students at the high school who are volunteering and doing acts of service. I'm always just amazed and just inspired by what they do and how they serve. Come on in, 7 o'clock. Johnny's office usually takes care of it. They'll usually have some muffins and some little drinks and stuff like that. It's a really neat experience. My VIC board meeting actually starts at 7:30 that morning, so I won't be able to make it. I'm bummed. Kudos to the Hickson underwater robotics team. The Sea Perch teams, they competed this past weekend at Pattonville High School and did a really great job. Special kudos to Tim Cashill, who recently announced his retirement. Fantastic human being from my perspective, and did a lot as a teacher, and certainly the family atmosphere that he created within the soccer program is pretty special. So he'll definitely be missed. Kudos to the Hickson Middle School once again. They went to this past weekend. Dr. Lee's done a lot to nurture and develop leadership at the middle school. She's done a remarkable job. This past weekend, the students from Hickson, I'm just going to read it here. They visited Kingdom House to participate in a poverty simulation and learn about the difficult choices people living in poverty have to make every day. Kingdom House is a United Way organization that works to support those in need through programming, early childhood, preschool, and social supports. They help those that don't have credit build credit through microloans. They provide access to low-cost clothing and food through their bodega and market with healthy food options. And probably the most critical point, especially for our children, and a lot of whom live in a lot of privilege, is that this organization really prioritized serving with dignity, maintaining the dignity for those that they serve, which I think is really cool. DECA, we had a number of kids that qualified for the international competition at the state competition. Kudos to them. Patrick mentioned the Thrive. It's going to be an incredible experience for these students that are going to dive in to this entrepreneurial incubator for 3 hours a day, all year long, working with KRCB and local entrepreneurs. A lot of community people that are involved in that. Very excited by that. I went the day of the proposition, I went with a number of staff and some Hickson Middle School students to hear Maggie Hagerman talk. She's the author of White Kids, and I've shared this before, but again, she did studies. She went to kind of a community, a region like ours, and looked at kids, studied kids and families from different high schools through the lens of really looking at racial privilege. Phenomenal research, phenomenal book, and to hear her speak and to engage in dialogue with children from around the St. Louis area as well as other people in the nonprofit world, the education world, was really neat. So we had a lot of staff, a lot of administrators there from different levels. And then I'll give my just real quick Prop E thanks. I can't thank people enough. Again, like Steve said, the process and the support from our community, we really felt like you guys prioritized engaging community, transparency, and those things. And all along the way, we felt like we had a lot of people involved in the process. Ultimately, we felt we were taking to the polls something that was a community-based proposition, and there was resounding support. Certainly the board for your role and all the participation at all the meetings, first making the hard decision, which is even harder after coming off a pretty tough loss experience 4 years ago. But to prioritize that decision, to be involved in the process along the way, even some support with the campaign when you could, was really big. And we also appreciate your trust and support, Bruce and I, as Kathy, as well as our whole administrative team. Kathy V was a superstar with the whole thing. Bruce was a superstar with the whole thing. Couldn't happen without you guys. Again, not looking at just from a 4-month window, but Bruce is what he's been able to do with our financial picture, our facilities picture, and actually just less than 3 years, has been really remarkable. And if we're not in that spot before we go out to the community, it doesn't pass. So huge thanks to you, Bruce. Again, Kathy, the administrative team in my office, the Building and Finance Advisory Committees. Thanks to David and Steve and Arnold, who are reps on those committees. And like Arnold said, just our staff is so wonderful. Their involvement, the good things that they do every day. Again, if we don't have great schools, we don't get the level of support that we get. They engage in the process, the canvassing. A lot of them aren't here tonight, but I did want to recognize Philip was a huge help early on, and nobody worked more on this campaign, as hard on this campaign as Phil did on the early outset. He was amazing. I also wanted to recognize Emerson and Maddie for their support on the campaign. Emerson reached out to me right away. He started coming to some of our board meetings leading up to the decision, and they were both tremendous supports. And I think Emerson probably got more of those signs and yards than any single person. So really, really grateful for that. And Alan is not here. The rest of the committee, Alan is not here, but again, thanks to Alan for stepping up and leading. He did not come to me. He told me when I first got the job prior to my first day, he said, John, if you ever go back to the voters again, I'd love to help. And then I sat down with him at some point in the fall and said, Alan, I'd love for you to lead if it comes to that point. And he never said yes to that, but he continued to help and encourage and be a support. And lastly, just throwing out there, the final celebration is my wife, because she's amazing, and she puts up with me in a lot of ways, and just her support of taking care of 3 kids when her husband's out there, trying to work and trying to get some of this done. So that's it.
Thanks, Steph.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The correspondence flag has been updated. Take a look at that when you get a moment. And then we have some policies for your first review this evening. They'll come back one more time before you're asked to approve them. And meanwhile, if you have any questions, talk to Sandy or John or me or Joe or Kita.
And we did want to just touch on that policy KI real quickly, and that is something, we had some community members and came spoke tonight. That's one of the things that we're looking to do is our current board policy doesn't, it kind of guides how we communicate for different groups, and there's a designations of are you school group, are you curricular related, or are you affiliated with the school districts in some kind of way. And so one of the things that we're trying to do, Kathy V and I, we're invited into, is this school affiliated, is this curricular related, and trying to do what we can to support all groups, such as the parent equity group at Webster Groves High School, to be able to share information, what they're doing. The other equity groups within, this is the difference, and I know Ms. Townsend said they were school sponsored. The other school equity groups are all PTO affiliated. And so their PTOs have designated them as a PTO group, and some have given money. The parent leadership group at the high school has not done that yet. So that's one reason why we can't just share out their information like we can all the other groups. But we want to and we need to. So one of the things that we're looking to do, Dr. Stricker had the idea of having some kind of online calendar, and our policy does allow for a forum of sorts to develop, or we can, even with some discretion, our policy will allow communicate some of those different types of events. So, Aaron, do you want to say anything on that?
Either a physical bulletin board or an electronic bulletin board, which provides opportunity for people to see what other events are taking place that are not linked to the policy.
Yeah. Yep.
Have
So
you
what
communicated that with that group?
I have.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a little curious because I was able to get information out through the principal well before the Edgar Road Equity Group was receiving money from PTO. And we only this year became a committee under PTO, yet we've been communicating information with them.
Probably shouldn't have been doing it, because there would be nothing like Doug says, if you're going to allow a non-affiliated parent group organizing around whatever, special advertising or marketing, you should be allowing every single group who comes to you to do that same thing. So I think it was probably one of those where it's well intended, it's our families, it's our kids, it's aligns with our mission and vision, we need to do it, but probably not something that should
Steps to
allow.
follow.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it for that.
All right. Board calendar, anything we need to be aware of there? Is everybody planning to attend the MSBA regional meeting? I believe that's at U City.
U City.
Say it again.
May 1, the MSBA regional meeting, spring meeting. Okay. I'm sure that's on everybody's calendar. Anything else, Sean?
Nope.
Okay. Then, carnival agreement.
Carnival agreement, just so you're aware, we'll be coming back to you shortly. Bruce and I have met with the Lions. We received a preliminary agreement that had a few changes to it from the city. We're currently reviewing that, considering some of the changes, and then we'll look to bring that back to you at the next meeting. So just kind of wanted to get that out there. That's it.
Next steps on Prop E.
Prop E, well, Mr. Ellerman and I will be formalizing a report to come to you in a few, shortly, not long, that details some of the macro, micro strategies as we move towards a August 21 new beginning, so to speak, with the school. We did just kind of want to, and Bruce is going to touch on some of these tonight, some of the steps that we're thinking of and being mindful of, some of the big strategies. First of all and foremost is to continue to care for people through the change process, looking at our parents, looking at our students, looking at our faculty, everybody that's been affected by this. For some, it's more emotional than others, and rightfully so, whether it's their tenure at a particular school, whether it's a change in possibly their child possibly going to a different elementary school than their 3 current children possibly. So there's got to be a lot of care and empathy that we demonstrate to people along the way. And again, be honest and transparent. And that's one thing that we've done through that Prop E process is be really clear that this is going to happen, this is how we're going to do it. And so people appreciate that even when they're not upset with the decision or what you're going. So Bruce will talk tonight a little bit about bond sale resolution, selling of the bonds. We'll talk a little bit about some more financial matters as it relates to this with his budget update, which won't be tonight, which will be coming later. Tonight we'll look to you to approve the architects for both of the projects. After that, we'll be looking to have them engage in that architectural engineering design work that will be highly involved. That will certainly be Rob Stuber in the back. Will be the lead on that project with Bruce, and thanks to Rob too on the Prop E. He was huge with that. Sorry, Rob. But that'll be big work. We'll involve schools. We'll to the level that we need to get input from people regarding the structure. Certainly, faculty will be big as we look to do this design as well. We'll involve construction. Redrawing elementary boundary lines is obviously something that's going to be a big priority for us. We've been processing a little bit of that. The how behind that, the timeline behind that. There's likely going to be our RFQ that I put together to seek highly qualified people to lead that process because it's going to be some pretty heavy lifting. But we've done a lot of pre-thinking, ideating on that particular topic. Process for transitioning to new schools. So through that elementary process, we'll have to be mindful and again caring for how are we going to support families in the transition process with children. Probably even more so, no, I won't say more so, but the faculty piece is really big because as we have this lengthy implementation process, we don't know how many people are going to be moving. So we're going to have to be very agile and nimble, great communication with everybody so that we can assign staff appropriately. So that's going to be a big piece of it. Also looking at resources. We're going to have an elementary school that's transitioning from a choice-based to a neighborhood school. How do we get the elementary resources, furniture, everything like that within that building? How can that be shared within the school district? What else do we need? Similarly, with our sixth graders moving, how do we make that happen as best that we can? Working with the current given school community and future school community members on the transition process at that school. Howard and I have, again, we've talked about that quite a bit prior to Prop E, but how to go about doing that in a way that honors and respects the people that are there, involving them in the process, involving the children in the process, but then also the families that are going to be assigned to there. So they need to be a part of that process as well. And also the coming together of the Steger and Hickson. Really excited about the opportunity for the teachers, for the children, and it's going to be really important to, again, just nurture and care for all the staff members, involve the Steger folks in the design aspects of Hickson. Anything that the Hickson teachers should do, we need to start being mindful of that. The transition, Howard and Grace have already been really thoughtful about that, including Grace has been included by Howard in some of their interviewing, just as a just because this person will probably, science teacher will probably be yours, if they stay in 2 years, if they're here in 2 years, so just things like that. So that's it. So we'll be coming to you in a formal manner. Tonight wasn't the night for that, just to lay out some of those in timelines.
Thank you. Anybody have questions? Mr. Ellerman, bond sale resolution.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Isn't it an exciting time to be a statesman or a stateswoman? It's almost enough to make me sell my St. Charles County farm.
There you go. There you go.
Unfortunately, I don't have kids in school any longer. I'm past the kids in school age. While it might be several months before actual construction activity and expenditures will begin on the various Prop E bond issue projects, we believe it is in the district's best financial interest to proceed with selling bonds as soon as possible. Specifically, we believe getting to market quickly is critical to securing the best interest rate available in order to lock in the relatively low current interest rates and to get in front of potentially competing municipal and school bond sales that were also recently approved and are expected to hit the market in the near future. Like many things in the economy, interest rates are significantly impacted by supply and demand in the bond market, so timing is important. The go-to bond sale resolution before you this evening has been drafted by bond counsel and would formally authorize the district to proceed with the bond sale. You might note that the resolution is for $12.5 million of the overall $22 million Prop E authorization. The district's bond financial advisor believes, and we concur, that selling the bonds in 2 installments, $12.5 million this year, $9.5 million next year, will minimize district interest costs for 3 primary reasons. First, it delays the need to pay interest on the second installment until next year. Second, when that money would be needed to pay interest or be needed to pay construction and capital costs. Second, the interest rate market is expected to remain stable for the foreseeable future, so we don't feel like there's a significant risk, a compelling risk of a higher interest rate next year that would make it more advantageous to take a larger sale now at an interest rate instead of delaying that interest till next year on a portion of the bond sale. And then finally, thirdly, the second installment of $9.5 million sale next year is strategically sized to be what's called bank qualified, which brings in an additional cadre of interested parties to the district's bond sale. Historically, that's been worth about 35 basis points reduction in interest rates, which represents about 1/3 of a percentage point. And that may not seem like much when you hear 1/3 of a percentage point, but when you're talking about $9.5 million and an average life of about 16 years for the bond issue, that 1/3% represents over $500,000 in interest cost over the life of those bonds. So we are recommending, as we've learned, it's those little things that add up to bigger things over time. So for those reasons, we're recommending board approval to go to market by approving the go-to-market resolution for a general obligation bond sale of $12.5 million on May 13th of this year. Here this evening is Todd Goffoy from Piper Jaffray, who is the district's financial advisor in this, and so he and I would be happy to answer any questions the board might have at this time.
Just can't get your hand up fast enough. Go ahead.
Bank qualified, is that a minimum size?
Any bond sale at $10 million or less is bank qualified. Any bond sale above $10 million or above would not be bank qualified. So
Why not do it in 3 parts then?
I think I'm not sure that the cash flow would match up to when the cash would be needed for the construction projects. I don't know that we would be able to get the money quickly enough that way to keep up with the construction needs. We could look at that.
I mean, it just seems if you can save 35 basis points on the last 9.5, then it would seem as though you could go and do, I mean, could you do 9.5, 3, and 9.5? Could you do 9.5, 9.5? Or could you some way ladder it so that you can go and get the 35 basis points saved on the entire issue as opposed to just the last 9.5?
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned, the capital cash flows, we would have to take a look at that. The other thing is once you go beyond next year, we're here in April, so it's only 8 months till next year when we could sell. Essentially, a third sale would be an additional year after that, and then the interest rate risk in terms of risking whether the interest rate market is going to start moving away would be more substantial. Right now, the Fed has announced no further interest, they don't anticipate any further interest rate increases this year. So I think we would increase our potential interest rate exposure risk by delaying it even longer. Mr. Gaffoy, did you have anything to add to that?
That's all correct. But the other thing I would point out is each issue incurs transaction costs. So if you had that third one, you're going to have some inefficiencies of doing that.
So I implicitly trust you to go and work out what is best for the district. And you're doing this day for day, and I'm just asking questions. So that's fine. Thank you.
Other questions?
I would make a motion that we approve the resolution authorizing the offering of sale of general obligation bonds for the school district of Webster Groves, St. Louis County, Missouri, in the amount of $12,500,000.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
And I believe you're going to stay there and tell us about the design architect bid award package.
Right, follow right up. While the Prop E bond issue may have just been approved last Tuesday, the district's facilities department in general and Rob Stuber, construction manager in particular, has been busily preparing for the past few months to come out of the gate at full speed on all of the major bond issue construction projects. Tonight, we are asking the board to maintain this momentum by approving the architects for both the Hickson addition and for the separate safety and accessibility projects across the district. Those were packaged as 2 separate bid packages for architectural services. Rob has led a broad-based effort over the past few months to identify and select the best firm to provide design and architectural services on these projects. This effort included members of the district's Building Advisory Committee and the Facilities Department, and resulted in the district receiving a great response to this request for proposals. We received 14 responses to the Hickson addition and 11 responses to the safety and accessibility bid package. A scoring and selection process then narrowed these candidates down to the firms being recommended for your approval this evening. Specifically, We are recommending that the Board of Education approve the proposal from Dickinson Hussman Architects in the amount of $995,000 for architectural and design services related to the Hickson Addition projects, and a proposal from Honer Architects in the amount of $588,000 for architectural and design services related to district accessibility and safety projects under the Prop E bond issue. These amounts are well within normal industry standards for design costs relative to the estimated project construction costs. They're also within the budget allowances established by the districts for these projects as part of the bond issue. Looking forward, just so that when we're talking about bond sales and we're talking about approving architects, everybody gets really anxious and ready to go and ready to see things start happening. But as construction projects go, really nothing can happen until the due diligence and the design work is done. So there's a lot of testing at the site for soil testing and that kind of thing, and also just concept or site plans or design plans that would come to the board, go through a process, come to the board for approval, before then construction documents would be, and blueprints would be designed off of those approved initial plans, and then those construction documents would be put out to bid. The district would receive those bids and then award the construction bids. That process takes a good period of time. Those design plans also have to be approved by the City of Webster Groves and the authorities. So there's a process that has to go through. So the architect selection is just the first step in a rather lengthy building process that will culminate in projects being completed for use and occupancy by August of 2021. Design work, engineering, permitting, approvals all take time before the first shovel goes into the ground. Actual construction activity on site isn't expected to begin until early in calendar year 2020. So that's when you'll start seeing construction activity begin at Hickson. We may be able to begin some of the safety projects, door replacements, interior, exterior, and some of that kind of work perhaps can begin sooner than that. But the major Hickson project won't begin until early calendar year next year. So at this time, I wanted to recognize that with us this evening, Rob Stuber, who was pointed out before, construction manager, is here, and we also have representatives from both architect firms, and I'll let Rob introduce those gentlemen.
Yes, with us, bear with me, I got a cold here. With us tonight is with Dickinson Hussman, is Dwight Dickinson and Don Hussman. And then from Honer is Mark Ruther and Matt McDermott. These are both local firms, and to be honest with you, we're pretty excited to get on board.
Any questions? All right, Steve. I will entertain a motion to approve the proposal.
I'm going to be abstaining, so.
Oh, that's right, you can't, that's
So,
true.
yeah.
I make a motion, we approve the design package number 1 as Dickinson Hussman Architects, design package number 2, Honer Architects, for the amounts listed.
Second.
All right, all those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Anyone abstain?
One abstention, please.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
I think you're coming back, though. Administrator Sellers?
Dr. Wiley's going to take this one.
Oh, okay.
Hello, everyone. And again, my voice will go in and out, so let me know if you can't hear me. So just wanted to bring to you the just some thoughts related to the admin salary structure. You guys have in your board materials a model and a sample of what the admin salary structure looked like. Just kind of a reminder that we developed this model back in 2017 with the admin salary committee. which is comprised of the people that are listed there, but the administrators from the district. The model, our hope was when developing it, was that it would bring fairness, consistency to admin salaries, also being extremely competitive in the market and with other districts. Just as we have done for the teacher salary schedule, and then also for the support staff salary schedule, we benchmark it with county median with other county positions. Some of the admin positions, because of their specialty, some of them have a lesser amount of comps, but however, through some diligence and through some research, we were able to find a good number of comps for all of the admin salary positions. So we believe that the salaries that we're offering for all of the positions have good comparables there for us to make sure that our recommended salary is marketable. Again, it is a model with the framework. It considers years of experience. Again, it considers the median. We don't necessarily have channels and steps like we have for the teacher salary structure. So degrees and things like that aren't necessarily considered because, again, that's kind of embedded in the model. So the goal of the admin salary structure hopefully is to be at 103% above the county median. Again, just trying to ensure that we're marketable and competitive. However, I do want to share that unfortunately not all of the positions are at that 103% mark yet. We definitely reached that through the teacher salary structure with them being 105% above. And then thanks to your approval, we were able to get support staff to 103% above. However, the administrators we're still working to provide some of them with equity in order to try to catch them up. So for this year, for those administrators who are not at that mark, we have provided them with, typically we provide them with half of what they would receive, what that equity would be, and then hopefully provide that other half to catch them up. And for some that has worked, but for others it hasn't necessarily. So that's something that we'll be talking about in the upcoming years, again, wanting to make sure that our salaries for our administrators are as equitable as possible. And so, again, some of those equity adjustments are there, and you'll see them in the board documents that you have. So again, the overall increase for the administrative salary structure, it's about 3%. And while that may be a little bit higher than some of the other classifications outside of the superintendent, I may add, it's necessary that we have this percentage here, again, trying to ensure equity, fairness, and consistency with the salary structure. Again, knowing that in some areas we still have some growth there. However, we do believe that the model that we have and we wanted to present to you tonight for approval is still definitely trying to make us as competitive as possible. Are there any questions?
Steve, you want to make a motion to approve it?
Yes, I would like to make a motion that we approve the administrative salary schedule as presented by Dr. Wiley.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Now for the real reason why we all gathered tonight, right? Steve Lore night.
Oh, I don't know if it's quite that real reason.
Lore night, yeah. So I have the opportunity to kind of open up the floor, and then Steve's colleagues on the board will have an opportunity to share a few words about Steve and Steve's acts of service. And then in the end, I'll be able to present you with a few different items, of which I'm sure you know are coming. But I just, well, let me, before we get to Steve, first of all, congratulations to Arnold for again being selected. We're excited that you're going to 3 more years. We're very grateful, and I know the board's excited about it, the staff as well as the community are really fortunate to have you and excited by your continuing leadership with this board. So thank you. And soon we'll be thanking Alex too, and we're excited that you're here, Alex, and we'll celebrate you tonight with cake as well. So we're excited that you'll be on board, so thanks, Alex. Steve, tonight we're all about celebrating you, and I've known you for my tenure, just about my tenure in the school system, and it's hard separating the person from the, I guess, professional from the board member, because who you are is so core to your identity and everything that you do, and you are such a lovely human being who possesses such care, such gentleness. although you can certainly bring fire to conversations, to decisions. You always handle yourself. I've always experienced you handling yourself with respect and care for people, and I can't thank you enough. The collective groan multiple times among the DLT leadership when I announce you're not going to be around. It's got nothing to do with you, Alex, for sure. But Steve has been a pillar of at school events, serving over hot coals at barbecues. I've had the pleasure to be side by side with you. And people have felt your support. They just don't know it as a board member because that's a huge role, and you guys all do an amazing job, but they've truly felt your support and care. You're going to school events, kids events, staff events, tremendous amount of sacrifice that you've made for the betterment of the children of the school system. I personally have appreciated your care for me, my care for my family. You're always asking how my family's doing. You're offering reminders. And I think the one thing that I think is so neat, Steve, for you, that you've been such a role model for me as a human being, is your love for Katie and Janet. And it is, honestly, you're an exemplar of it, because anybody who knows you and hears you talk about them, your love for them is undoubted. It's undoubtable. It's just undoubtable. You can't talk about them enough. You can't express gratitude or positivity for them enough. And I think you're a role model for anybody who has that partner, has that significant other. And I just thank you. I'll miss you. I know I see you all around. I hope to. But just thank you for all your years of service.
Thank you, John. It's very sweet. Appreciate that.
Written something, no surprise. Steve, I admire your confidence and your ability to see this role not just as important community building, but as fun. And your quick and thoughtful defense of the board's work is a true reflection of your humble and fierce pride in the district. And as an introvert, I purposely chose a big extrovert as my mentor, and I'm really glad I did, because you have always responded quickly and thoughtfully, knowledgeably, and compassionately to my questions. And finally, with your many years of service, it will be hard to replace the depth and breadth of knowledge that you brought to the board as a board member, as a parent, and an alumnus. And so I wish you well, and good luck reclaiming your Mondays.
Thank you, Christine. Very sweet. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Steve, I can't think of anybody that I know that has a bigger heart than you have and loves this community more. And like Christine said, 9 years of service, we can't thank you enough for that. And we will miss all your, not only the experience you bring from being on the board, but as an alumni. So now the pressure's all on Kita. That. And I think you're just one of those people that there's never any doubt that you're in it for what's best for kids, which I think is something we all strive to be. And I think also you're such a good person at supporting not only new board members, but board candidates, which I know I thoroughly appreciated both when I was running for the board and when I was first on the board. So I appreciate that.
Thank you, John.
And on a personal level, I'm super jealous of Janet's birthday celebration, and I will sorely miss your movie reviews. So I need to find a way to get those somehow, so I know what movies are worth seeing. But now you have more time to go to them.
There you go. Absolutely.
Arnold.
I have a few notes down here, and you were very welcoming to me on the board, and I appreciate that when I got on. When I think of the length of service, 9 years, that you have committed to this community and the students and the staff, that's really unbelievable. You know, it's a long time. You hear other board members who have gone on many more terms. However, 9 years is a long time. And I'm sure Janet would probably echo that. The fact, my observation, the fact that you are a graduate, a parent of a student who went to school here, a community member, that you bleed orange and black, that you have committed your life to this community and this school district is a testament. I think every school district needs a Steve Bloor. because you're probably the school district's greatest cheerleader. And lastly, I will miss your motorcycle stories.
Many more to come. I'll be back to share. Thank you, Arnold.
I did not have notes. All I can say is I would love to be like you when I grow up.
You're so much younger than me too, Gina.
I appreciate you introducing me to my new favorite drink, a copper penny.
There you go.
I also appreciate your movie critiques and your stories about your lovely family and your motorcycle stories. You are a big personality, you have a big heart, and you have big shoes to fill, which I'm sure you can, no problem. I appreciated you welcoming me. I appreciated you being willing to help me and Christine in any way, shape that we could. You'll be missed. That's all I can say.
Thank you so much.
You want to be honest?
So first thing, I'm just glad somebody mentioned you were a Webster Groves graduate, because some of us weren't quite sure about that.
Haven't kept that much of a secret, have I, from the very beginning, David?
So I've always said that anybody who, the various stages I've got, you and Janet have a lot to answer for in terms of the various things I've done within the Webster Groves school system, because when our oldest daughter was in kindergarten at Clark, I came along to a PTO meeting, and Janet was treasurer actually at that point, and I started asking rude questions, and at that point you sort of pointed me out as somebody who clearly were going to get him more involved as well, and I sort of look and I sort of followed and had the opportunity, and I think about, we mentioned here the 9 years you served on the board, but all the years you've helped, you know, from when Katie was in kindergarten at Clark, sort of right the way through, you were there. I mean, you were the one who would go and do the, the dad's dance, and you always sort of said to me, I should go and do it. And I said, I can't dance. You'd say, no, nor can I. And it never bothered you, and it did me, and it was always great. And you've always been somebody who's taken every chance to go and get involved, to go and be part of it. I think it was inevitable you were always going to be a board member, and the service you provided through being a board member has been the same. I think people have to remember it's not just the Mondays that you'll get back, but it's all the time you've gone and spent going and doing at SSD. It's all the time you've gone and spent going to, many PTO activities everywhere. You've always been just very active. If there's somebody who you need to go and get involved and you're available, you will always be the person who somebody can go to. And we're really going to miss that. I mean, it's going to take more than one person to replace you and all the time that has been spent. So I'm very grateful for that. And I think the last comment I'd make is that, whilst you're leaving the board, I think the likelihood that this will be the last we see of you within the Webster Groves School District and you being active in the, I'm sorry, Janet, it really is the truth, that seeing you active within the Webster Groves School District, I think it's somewhat unlikely that this will be the last that we see of you, much as I see Emerson there, who'd been on the board before and is now very grateful for all that he does actively in the community. Again, I think you'll be somebody else who will be able to rely on as well. So thank you for everything you've done. Thank you for your friendship throughout all the time that I've known you, and I look forward to you still being involved.
Thank you, David. Very kind. I appreciate that.
I don't know what I can add to all of that. You took so many of my words. I was going to say that, to the point about, no matter how amazing Alex is, not only can he not fill your shoes, it's going to take him plus all of us doing that much more to fill the gap that you're going to leave on this board. Just because I've not known anybody, even in boards that I work with, who works harder and does more and does it with love for their community and for the students in our school district. And first and foremost, always, my speech about don't run for the Board of Education unless you're doing it for the right reason. Do it because you care about kids. And you exemplify the reason that people should run for the Board of Education. You've been a tremendous role model to me. I've been lucky to be with you in all of my time on the board. And I know too, as you've heard from the newer members as well, it's going to be a huge loss, but like David, I have to think that you're still going to be around, and we hope to still see you.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I will also miss your company at some of our MSBA conferences. And there are a few stories that might just die now that you're gone.
It's kind of like Las Vegas when it happened, you know.
There are a few stories, yeah. So, but thank you, Stephen.
Thank you so much. If I may share a few thoughts as well.
So just as I'm not sure. I mean, I know there are some community members here who, before you say something, I think would like to say that I don't know if we need to do something special to allow them to go and.
Would anyone like to say something about Steve?
See, I thought you were going to come up earlier, and then you didn't.
No. And I'm certainly in favour of, as long as Mr. Smith wants to roast Steve, I'm happy to sit here.
It was my intention to spend my 3 minutes of the last of the public comments to do a 3-minute roast on Steve. But with all of the accolades, Steve, that have been presented, I agree with all of them. We served 8 with you, 8 years on the board. And just want to thank you for your contribution to the community. It was more a special love, I can tell that you had, energy that you wanted to project, and something that you wanted to leave as a legacy with the district. And feel confident that you will do that. You will have that legacy that you will have in the minds of the students, the teachers, and administrators, of your dedication that you had to the district. So I left my notes at home with the roast. But just want to thank you for your service. I know it's a lot of hours. I know what's involved.
You do, absolutely.
You'll enjoy receiving some of your time back, but I encourage you to give some of it back to the rest of the community. So thank you for your service.
Thank you, Emerson. I appreciate you standing up and saying something. And thanks for not roasting me.
No, I just want to say to Steve that it's easy to agree with other people who hold the same views as you. It's easy. It's not so easy when people disagree, or when people like me say some stuff to make it under your skin that you don't agree with. But what I've always appreciated, and I mean this over like the 9 years because it's gone on for some time, is that if I say something and I know it gnaws at you, you never let it fester, you never let it go on a week or 2 weeks. You always pull me aside right after the meeting, immediately. Pull me aside, and you talk to me, and you tell me what your concerns are, right?
Absolutely.
And we have a little conversation, and hopefully we come out better, both of us, for it. And that's hard. And I think you are really, really good at it, and you're really good at it with me. So
Dave, you've been very respectful with me in the same situations, and I appreciate that. It's been a joy.
All right.
This was probably one of the hardest things that I tried to put together, and I will first thing ask your forgiveness if I mostly read from my notes. I think Amy, as a betting person, had said that she was betting the over in the number of times I would cry tonight. I'm going to make sure that number stays at 0, but we'll see. So again, thank you for allowing me to read. There we go. So normally I can handle winging it when the opportunity to speak in front of a group arises, but after 9 years of being part of something so special, I certainly don't want to risk forgetting to thank anyone. 9 years. Wow, it really went fast. It really did. But everything you do in life you really enjoy seems to go by at warp speed. So on to the most important thing, giving thanks and saying thanks. I'm thankful for the chance to learn so much about our district, our communities, and I'm so thankful to have met so many wonderful people, including those who serve their communities all around the state of Missouri in the same way that the 7 of us do. I'm thankful for the chance to live in the best district around, and in the one I which I grew up.
It makes the last 9 years that much sweeter to have been part of making sure the students of our district were given the opportunities like I was given so many years ago. My earliest memories involve my joy of getting to know people, and now I get to mention some very special and important people specifically. A lot of times, thanking the ones you hold most dear is safe for the end. I'm going to switch it up a little bit, and I'm going to start at the beginning with them. When you serve on the board, as was mentioned earlier, there are commitments and meetings and time spent away from your family. The one most affected in my world has been my beautiful wife, Janet. I cannot begin to thank her enough for her support and encouragement. She has never wavered when I said I've got something on the calendar for this night and this night and this night and that weekend, and I'm going to be away that weekend and whatever. She never blinked an eye. Go, do good. While she didn't grow up in one of our communities that our district serves, she does bleed orange and black almost as much as I do, and almost as much as anyone who ever did grow up here. So I thank you, Janet. I would like to say I can't love you anymore, but I'll spend every day trying to do more, every day. I was elected to the board near the end of our daughter Katie's freshman year at Webster Groves High School. My greatest joy, among many, during my time on the board was getting the chance to hand Katie her diploma cover at her graduation in 2013. Then watching her continue to grow into a lovely young woman, graduate from Mizzou, start a career, and now become a homeowner within our district boundaries. Yes, time flies by way too fast. I have some other people here to thank as well. My mother, Frida Lohr, is here. She's been a district resident for almost 70 years. And as of yesterday, we celebrated her 90th birthday. My mother was a room mother at Clark, a Cub Scout leader for me, a Girl Scout leader for my sister. She volunteered in PTAs, I guess they were called then, PTO, Mother's Club, and I guess it's no secret where my willingness to serve and my love for it comes from. She is truly an amazing woman. My sister Sandra is here, a member, I'm not going to look at her. My sister Sandra, a member of the class of 76, is here tonight along with her daughter, my niece Erin, Erin's husband Jake, and Erin and Jake's 3-year-old son Cooper, my great nephew. As of a few months ago, Erin and her husband moved back into our district, and in a couple years, Cooper will become the 3rd generation of our family to go to Clark School, following Sandra, me, and Katie. And that's pretty cool. And Cooper's back there. Hi, buddy. So I'm hoping that when Cooper walks across the graduation stage in about 15 years, I might get the chance to give him his diploma cover too. I'll be 71 when he graduates. I'm a numbers guy. That's old. To the other folks sitting in the audience, especially those who continually show an interest in our district and those who take the opportunity to make public comments, send us correspondence, thank you. I truly mean that. Thank you. John, please pass along my thanks to the district staff members in every department and in every one of our schools. They really are the greatest. Joanne Kite is back here as one of the staff members here in the district office. Joanne, you're wonderful. Thank you for all of your hard work. I know you might not be around in the district too many more years, and if you are, we'll be lucky to have you. Oh, I get it. But you know what? You're phenomenal. Thank you. To the good folks sitting at the table in front of us and near the front of us here, I cannot thank you enough for your commitment to the students of our district. Your professionalism in being here at every board meeting giving us the details, data, and research that the board needs to make informed decisions. Sandy, Bruce, Tim, John, Kathy B., proud graduate of the district as well. And I'm sorry that Chris isn't here to give my thanks to as well. You are all truly special people, and I want to thank you for your friendship as well. I also want to thank their predecessors, Linda, Diane, and Gail, for their work as well. To the nice lady on my immediate right, Ms. Sharon Myers, you are here for every board meeting, open and closed sessions. I'm sure that being our board secretary can be quite, that's what I came up with, is interesting. And she keeps her mouth shut over there as much as possible, although sometimes I want you to go, what the heck? So I want to thank you for all your hard work. and your time commitment to the board, you are top-notch. Just like your predecessors, Lori, Jane, and Judy. To our student advisors this year, Patrick and Jessica, and to Trinity and Joe, our student advisors last year, thank you for your interest in what we do and for helping us know a little bit more about what's going on from a student's perspective. It's really important, and I'm glad we have you here. To the folks who were my board colleagues along the way, Janet Hamill, Peter Bacher, Mike Kearney, Steve Dionetta, Amy O'Brien Norder, Emerson Smith, Gene Dugan, Joel Oliver, Michael Shipley, and also our former superintendent, Dr. Sarah Rist. I want to thank them for their service. I learned so much from all of them, and many became dear friends of mine along the way. To our incoming board member, Alex, welcome. I wish you much success and good fortune, and I hope you enjoy your time on the board as much as I have enjoyed mine. And with having a youngster coming into the schools, kindergartner, I believe, this coming year, that's going to make it even more sweet, I promise you. Now, to the folks that I meet with regularly, unfortunately, our board attorney, Doug Copeland, is not here. Another proud graduate of the high school, older than me as well. I want to thank him for his guidance and expertise and candor, and maybe we'll get a chance to finally get a motorcycle ride together. We've talked about it for years. Christine, I hope you've enjoyed your first year on the board, and I hope you are excited for many more. I so admire the passion you bring to the role. And I never mind your questions, and I never mind you asking me what I thought, because it's nice to be asked. And you always listen with an open mind, and you always have great things to share. Keita, as mentioned earlier, you're now officially the one who carries the flag as the only board member to have gone through the district as a student. Share your historical perspective. There you go. Share your historical perspective. It is much needed, as was mentioned. I have enjoyed swapping stories with you. Joe, you are a straight shooter and possess so much common sense. I admire your willingness to spur discussion and consider many points of view, but also to cut through the muck and make progress. I hope you will continue to serve the board and the district beyond your first term. You are an asset to the board. You truly are. Arnold, I want to congratulate you again on beginning your second term on the board. I really enjoyed getting to know you the past 3 years. I'm thankful for your perspective as a former teacher and administrator. Sharing your experiences from being in the trenches is really important to the board's work, and I thank you. It's hard to pick between Amy and David. I got to go with one or the other because I've been on the board 8 years with both of them, and so I'll start ladies first. Amy, excuse me. My nose is running, I'm not crying. Just want to let you know.
I've already lost.
That's it. There we go. All right, Amy, we have shared a lot of laughs during our 8 years on the board together and seen many ups and maybe just a few downs along the way. We're very blessed to have you as a board colleague for many reasons, but especially because of your expertise in school district legal matters, your day job, and I'm so thankful to have spent time working with you. David, as you mentioned, we first crossed paths at Clark School. Both served the PTO there and then again in high school. And as with Amy, our 8 years together on the board have been really nice. And I so appreciate your friendship. You have a real passion for this position, and it shows in everything you do. John, there are many things that a district superintendent needs to be good at. You have to wear so many hats and deal with so many different people and different things and try to please so many. All the while, you can't lose sight of the fact that you are a husband, a father, and a son. And as we have talked about several times, and you may have mentioned, you have to find a way to turn it off and get away from the job, which frankly has to be one of the toughest jobs out there. I really do think that a superintendent of a school district, especially one that has so many people that have a vested interest in its success, it's got to be one of the hardest jobs around, and you do it so well. But one thing makes you good at all those things, and the thing that separates the really good superintendents from the rest is having a special heart. You have a really big, soft heart, and we've seen it so many times, and I'm really grateful and thankful for your willingness to show it. I'd like to think you and I are a lot alike in that way. We wear our hearts on our sleeves, and I thank you, my friend. Thank you. So in closing, I appreciate you all being very patient with me with this very long speech, and I want to show you a picture. So, the young man in this picture is about 50 years younger than the man who sits in this chair for the final time tonight. This is 6-year-old Stephen Sanford Law. Then a first grader in Mrs. Probst's class at Anna Clark School. Damn it. One. 6-year-old, first grader in Mrs. Probst's class at Anna M. Clark School. The year was 1969. That's a long time ago for all you kids. It's a long time ago. Rotary phones on the wall. With a 968 number. I hated my friends who had a 968 number because you had to spend so much time dialing the first numbers. One phone in the house. My sister and I had to share it. Okay. So like many of our, that was off script, by the way. Like many of our students today, this young man didn't know what a school board was. And he didn't know what all happened in the world outside his classroom. And he didn't yet know what it would mean to be a statesman. He wanted to go to school. He wanted to be safe, learn a lot, and play. And he wanted to go home to the best parents and the coolest big sister around. Those 50 years went by in the blink of an eye. And that young man now knows about all the people who worked so hard to make sure he and thousands of other kids like him experience academic and personal success. That young man is grateful, so very grateful. And this man is too. Thank you.
And of course, somehow you have managed to raise the bar on all school board members. So great, thanks for that.
I didn't time that, and I'm sorry, that went so long, but there's so much in there to share.
So first of all, as Steve referenced, as serving as a board president, also vice president, he gets the gavel.
They give this after you guys don't say this. That's very nice. Thank you, John.
You bet. And the other thing is, you'll notice around the room, and they're actually throughout central office. It's a neat tradition. I don't know when it started. I should find that out in Webster. But every outgoing board member, Kathy B works with the school to create artwork, and they try to work with obviously a school special place in that person's heart. Steve's got a few of them. But the students at Clark School created some special artwork for you. Steve gets to select one that goes home with him, and then one remains in this boardroom or in our central office to remind us of Steve and all of his contributions. So, Clark Elementary, there's the first piece of art.
Let us see.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So Steve doesn't have to
Wow.
choose this moment.
I don't have to decide, but I'm going to consult with my decorators back here so we can pick the best place to put that. Boy, those are beautiful.
So special thanks to Ms. Baduras and the students at Clark for putting this together. So.
Thank you very much.
All right, if anybody wants to follow that, we have
No, I just want to say that the 8th annual Webster on Wheels is going to be Sunday afternoon, May the 5th. You all will be getting an email to see if you want to volunteer. It's about 15, 20 minutes of your time on a Sunday afternoon. But it's great. It's a great community event. Run for Webster is about running. Webster on Wheels is about biking. And it's in the fall. And the other thing, the two young men that came in and talked, and I'm sorry I forgot your names. I wasn't going to say anything about Julie, but I am now, only from the standpoint that I have 3 kids who graduated from the high school. All 3 went through the experiential education center. And they got to know Julie really well, and I got to know Julie really well. In fact, she commented on several private projects that I was working on. She reviewed them and gave me feedback and stuff. I think the world of her. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's any of my business to know what happened. All I know is my emotions, is that when I heard what happened, I was shocked, if not angry, because she is beloved by her students and by the parents of her students for years and years and years. So, again, I trust communities move forward at the speed of trust. I trust you all. I trust the high school. I trust you guys are making the right decisions. I just want you to know that there are a lot of parents and tons of students out there who have different emotions about this thing and have very strong allegiances and love for Julie Burchett.
Any other public comments? Sorry.
If I can add, I wasn't through the rules, if I can add my 2 cents in just a second. Laura Putnam, 2 Webster Knowles. I have a current college freshman and a current high school sophomore, and I think the world of Julie, and I was very surprised. And I know you can't comment about personnel things, and maybe we'll never know, but I just feel like I need to tell you that she got my reluctant writer to write, and he won college scholarships because of her. She's coached both my boys in Scholar Bowl. She's taken them on history trips. She's gone overseas with them, and I think the world of her. So thanks for letting me share that.
Thank you.
All right, Steve.
I would like to make a motion, we approve consent agenda items 9.02, 9.03, 9.04, 9.05, 9.06, and 9.07.
Second. Might I ask a question? So Sandy, can I ask how many people applied to the Chelsea Center position, and or John, were students involved in the hiring process?
So there were 23 total applicants that applied for that position in the time frame that it was open, and there were students involved in the process.
Any other discussion or questions? All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay.
Would make a motion that we adjourn to 10.01, the adjournment sine die.
I think you should use that gavel.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm trying to rush things. I gotta have some cake.
I second that.
There you go.
All those in
Okay.
favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right, now.
Now we can. All right, Sherry, you're on.
The board reorganizes tonight with the installation of new director Alexander Kahn and returning director Arnold Stricker. At this time, board members will be sworn in individually for 2019, 2020. Would you repeat after me, Mr. Khan? Here, you can do also. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of school director
discharge the duties of school director
in and for the school district of Webster Groves,
in and for the school district of Webster Groves,
County of St. Louis, State of Missouri,
County of St. Louis, State of Missouri,
to the best of my ability according to law.
to the best of my ability according to law.
Repeat the oath of office after me. I do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and the Constitution of the State of Missouri,
and that I will faithfully and impartially
and that I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the duties of school director
discharge the duties of school director
in for the school district of Webster
in
Groves,
for the school district of Webster Groves,
County of St. Louis, State of Missouri,
County of St. Louis, State of Missouri,
to the best of my ability and according to law.
to the best of my ability and according to law.
Congratulations. To complete the board's reorganization, the board will nominate and elect its officials for 2019-2020. At this time, we will nominate next board president.
So, just, I'm not sure that it's appropriate just to announce that I believe Amy has said that if she is chosen to serve, she's willing to serve.
And if anyone else would like to do it, I'd be happy to step aside. But yes, I am willing to. One more time, and I'm not kidding.
No. So let's do this way. I'm not even looking.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no.
No, I'm kidding.
One vote for Ms. Clendenin. Two votes for Ms. Clendenin. Three votes for Ms. Clendenin.
Strictly, they're not votes; they're nominations.
Nominations, 4 nominations for Ms. Clendenin. And 6 nominations for Ms. Clendenin. Can you accept? Yes. Do you have a motion?
Make a motion, Amy Clendenin be the board president for the next term.
Second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, motion carried, 7. Thank you, I appreciate your confidence. Thank you, I appreciate it. And David, are you willing to serve as vice president?
If nominated, I will, and elected, I will serve. It shouldn't stop anybody else who wants to put their name down from doing so then. So we'll come back to you then. I'm just going to pass them over.
No, I think she's still in charge.
No, you take over.
Am I now?
Yes, you're in.
Clearly, I failed already.
Board president presides. And she can perhaps go and collect them. I already gave Amy mine.
I got them. No problem.
So once I'm down there.
Thank you. By unanimous, and myself.
That's the truth.
Hey, why are there 8? No. David, all right. Do you accept?
I accept, yes. I'm sorry.
Somebody want to move to appoint David as vice president?
Make the motion to appoint David Anderson as vice president of the Webster Groves School Board.
Great.
Second.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed?
Thank you very much. I
Congratulations.
appreciate the support.
Sherry, are you willing to continue to serve as board secretary? Yes. I nominate Sherry to serve as secretary to the Board of Education.
I second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? And Ms. Kite, are you willing to continue to serve? I am. Good.
I move to approve Joanne Kite as board treasurer for 1920.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. This time I will entertain a motion to eat cake.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
All right, we are adjourned. Please come enjoy some cake.